All right, so here's how you're gonna exit your lazy girl era and get your life back together in 2026. The first thing I want you to realize is that there are usually reasons why you're being lazy. It's not like you are either a lazy person or a productive person. You have probably had periods in your life where you have been super productive and on top of things, and then other periods of your life where you have been more lazy and not gotten a lot done, and literally it says nothing about who you are as a person. So just forgive yourself, breathe, let it go. It's okay. We're gonna get it sorted out. But the first thing that we need to do in order to sort it out is figure out why you have not been productive recently. So why are you even in this lazy girl era to begin with? I've identified a couple of reasons why people tend to be lazy, and this is based on my own journey and also my work as a life coach. I have supported hundreds of clients at this point, all with different goals and different reasons why they weren't achieving those goals. And based on that work and on my own personal life, I have noticed that there are patterns for why people fall out of productivity and go into more of like a lazy season. Now, laziness is different than taking a break. I just want to say that, like, we need vacation, we need to sleep, we need days off. Like, that's important, and you're not being lazy if you're just resting, and resting is actually fuel for productivity. So before we get further into this video, just notice if you are beating yourself up for taking breaks versus laziness, which I think about that as you are not following through on your own plans. Like, you have a plan to do something and instead you are actively doing something else. You're not being productive in terms of doing what actually matters to you and what you have set out to do, and you're not moving the needle forward on creating the life that you want and going after your goals and showing up for the things that you have already decided are important to you. So if you're not showing up in line with your priorities, I would say that's something that we need to fix, and that's the purpose of this video. But if you're just taking a break, take a break. That's okay. Take a week off. Sleep 8 hours a night. Like, do the things you need to do to be healthy. And that is not laziness, but that is just something that you need to feel comfortable doing, is like taking a break. So assuming that you know the difference now between laziness and just regular old rest, what are some reasons why people enter into a lazy era? So the first reason is that you are avoiding something scary or daunting that you don't want to do, even if it's important. So every time that thing comes up on your calendar, or every time you decide like, oh, I'm going to do it today, or I'm going to do it this week, you find some kind of excuse, and then you end up sleeping in, or you end up, just doing something other than that thing that you had planned, even if it feels productive in the moment, like productive procrastination, cleaning your room, even though your room is perfectly fine, because you don't want to, go through that stack of mail that you need to go through. That's like a client example. One of my clients had like a huge stack of mail once that she needed to go through, and she was just like putting it off. So if you are putting something off, if you notice that you hit the snooze button every morning, even though you plan to work out, like the real reason why you're being lazy is because you're avoiding a daunting task. And for each of these reasons, I want to give you the antidote, but the first step is to figure out what the reason is, and then we'll go into what to do about it, what to do if this is your problem. So you might be in a lazy era because you are avoiding something daunting, or maybe you're avoiding a couple of daunting things, whatever it might be, but avoidance could be the root cause of your lazy era. You might be in a lazy era because your body is just low on energy. So this goes into remembering the difference between rest and laziness, but there might just be a period where your body doesn't have the energy to do the things that are important to do. And so, for me, that's like on the first day of my cycle, I usually don't do much. Sometimes I happen to have energy, but I kind of plan as if I'm not going to get anything done that day. because that is just a very, very low energy day for me. This could also be true if you haven't been sleeping well for whatever reason. Your body is just not going to have the energy to do all the things, and that's okay. Again, it's not necessarily like laziness at that point. It's just like you don't have the fuel in the tank, and that's okay. We're going to talk about what to do about that. And then the last reason why you might be in a lazy era is that you have previously put too much on your plate and worked too hard, and now you're at the point where you just can't go anymore and you need a break, but you haven't given yourself permission to take a break. And so you are just rebelling against your plans, basically. You are just taking breaks and ignoring your goals and not focusing, and you're labeling that as laziness, but really that's a sign that you actually need to rest. And you'll know this is you because you have had a period of going really, really hard, and all of a sudden you just can't go that hard anymore, and it's your body telling you that you must rest even though you haven't given yourself permission to rest. And so figure out which one you are. Are you number 1, avoidant? Number 2, low energy in your body for whatever reason? Number 3, basically like burnt out, like you have just worked yourself to the bone and you can't go anymore and you need rest, but you're not giving it to yourself. And I also want to say that if you're following along, if you're taking notes, I actually have a productivity and habit change journal guide that will teach you how to build habits that actually get you to your goals and how to stick to those habits and be productive and stay on top of them. And that journal guide is down below this episode. It's completely free. So if you are taking notes, you don't have to worry about taking notes. Everything I'm saying here, plus a ton of other information and exercises, is in that journal guide down below. So you can just soak in all of the information, and then when you're ready to apply it, you can download the free guide in the description. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about what to do if you are in each of these situations. So if you are in avoidance and you are not actually taking enough action because you are scared of the steps that you need to take, they're daunting and overwhelming, what you want to do is a couple of things. First of all, I would recommend breaking that task up into tiny, manageable, small things that you can do in like 15 minutes or less. So break it up into tiny, tiny steps. This does not have to be a marathon where you spend all day doing things that freak you out. Just break it down to 15 minutes and do 15 minutes of it, and then give yourself a reward, whatever feels like a reward to you. But you want to associate getting that thing done with celebration, and you also want to celebrate along the way. So it's not like I have to muscle through and do the whole thing all at once. Do 15 minutes, give yourself a reward. Do 15 minutes, give yourself a reward. And if you can find a way to romanticize this, like have your favorite coffee or like a snack, play some music, maybe do it in a vibey environment, go to a cute coffee shop or go outside, like find a way to make it fun for yourself. And again, do as little as possible. Just do 15 minutes and then take a little break, reward yourself, and then 15 minutes again, and you will move forward on it and it won't be as daunting. If you are in a situation where your body is low on energy, determine why. So like for me, if it's the first day of my cycle, I know exactly why, and I know I'll be fine within like 1 to 2 days. If it's because you haven't been sleeping, or if it's because of like a health condition, or maybe you haven't been eating enough, like understand for yourself, why is my body so low on energy? In college, I was very low on energy, and I went to the doctor and I found out that I was like severely anemic, and that actually helped me a lot. Like I got a prescription and I was fine. So go on the journey of figuring it out. It might be like a long process. It might be like just being honest with yourself that you have not been sleeping, like whatever you need to do, but figure out why and then address that problem. If there's something to be done, address it. Like for example, with me, when I'm on my cycle and it's my first day, I always take an iron pill, like an over-the-counter iron pill, because typically the low energy I feel is because I have low iron, like I'm losing blood. And so when I take an iron pill, that actually does help with the energy. So figure out the problem, figure out the solution, apply the solution, and then you will have more energy, and then you will be able to be more productive, just like that. And then the final thing, if you are burning out and you just don't have it in you to do anymore because you have been in a season of doing the most, what you need to do is schedule rest and make the rest as important to you as the work. So maybe for some of you, you need to just take a week off as soon as possible. And remember that that is so important. It is more important at this point than cranking out more work or being more productive. Like, give yourself the permission to take time off and do it soon. And then schedule it out so that you have rest on the calendar regularly. So I run my own business and no one is giving me paid time off. No one is giving me holidays off. You know, I have to actively decide for myself what vacation is going to look like for me. And so at the beginning of this year, I wrote out, like, I'm taking 4 weeks off. These are my 4 weeks that I'm taking off. And then I'm going to be taking off like some days here and there as well. And I've already decided what those days and weeks are going to be, so that it's non-negotiable with myself, and that helps me not overdo it and burn out. But that is a practice. I've been in business for 6 years, and this is something that I really had to learn, because when no one is telling you not to work and you really like your work, you will just work endlessly, and you have to be the one to rein that in. So if that's you, it's not a big deal. You don't need to be mad at yourself, but just give yourself permission to rest, and then plan that rest. And when that time comes, do not allow yourself to work. Just don't let it happen. Let yourself be bored if you need to. Like, it's okay to be bored. It's okay to sleep for 48 hours if you need to do that, but just do not work, whatever you do. And then you will be so much more productive and recharged and like focused when it's time to come back. Okay, so that has been a crash course in how to exit your lazy girl era and enter your productive girl era so that you can get your life back together in 2026. I promise you that these things are going to help you so much, but you have to apply them. And to help you apply them, you can go down to the description below and find that productivity and habit change journal guide that is just going to help you show up as that next level version of yourself. This is also the work that I love to do with my clients inside of my life coaching business. And if you want to learn more about what it would be like to be my client, you can actually head to the link down below called Coaching Consultations. And that's where you can book a free consultation with me, where we'll get to know each other and we'll discuss whether or not it's a good fit for us to work together. So if you're curious about what it's like to work with me as your coach, then book a consultation and we will get it all figured out. And then finally, if you've made it to the end of this video, you must know that I have a podcast with over 150 episodes. It's called the U 2.0 podcast, and it's all about helping you transform yourself and your life. So if you want to hang out with me further, if you love my YouTube videos and you want to get more support from me, I have been podcasting since 2022, and you can head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and find the U 2.0 podcast for even more goodness from me. All right, I love you very much, and I will see you again really soon in another episode. Mwah. Take care.